Well, if I had $1 for every single time a company decided to flush its existing fan base down the toilet in an attempt to get this elusive modern audience, I'd have a lot of dollars. And today we're talking about Games Workshop, and they're doubling down with the female Custodes by adding models. Now, for those of you who may not know what is even going on, essentially, Games Workshop decided to unveil that there are female Custodes, which brought a lot of fan backlash because they've never existed. There has never been anything in lore that even alluded to there being female Custodes. Games Workshop responded by stop being sexist, stop being right-wing. Just because we've never wrote about them doesn't mean that they've never existed. And yeah, just go ahead and accept it, because there is no place for misogyny in Games Workshop. And that's what it boiled down to. Now, I wanted to pick this article in particular out because of this paragraph right here, because I think this explains the mindset of people who want this and who push this into already existing fan bases and franchises. The inclusion of female head here marks a significant step for the company, putting its foot down against its bad faith right-wing base. Now, I just want to comment on this right here. Wanting lore consistency is somehow making you right-wing, because you want lore to have a accurate and a timeline that makes sense, makes you right-wing, which I think is ridiculous. But it's going to get more regarded and supports the fans who have been asking for such an option. Now, I'm assuming you mean fans who want more female representation, in which I would say, are we just pretending the Adepta Sororita doesn't exist? Or, I don't know, the Anathema Psychana, two very well-known female, all-female factions, right? The Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence, respectively. There's plenty of female commissars who are quite well-known in Warhammer lore. There's just general female soldiers within the Imperium. So to pretend that fans have been asking for more female representation is absolutely ridiculous, because if you're a fan and you're saying that, well, you're just not a fan, because there's already plenty of female representation within the lore. And for those fans, the new Legio Custodes models, which can be used both Horse Heresy and Warhammer 40k, will be available this year. But don't just take my word for it. If we go over here to the Warhammer official YouTube channel with almost 1 million subscribers, we can go ahead and get a look at what the fandom thinks about these new models. 2.4k dislikes to 11k dislikes. I'm sorry, I completely got that backwards. 2.4k likes to 11,000 dislikes. Now to some of these top comments. The Golden Boys got Netflixed. I just came here for the comments. By the way, 2.3k likes just for mentioning we're here for the comments. Games Workshop's Bud Light moment. Heresy detected. Are you just going to pretend the Sisters of Silence don't exist? When you are so out of touch with your own IP that you forget to give the Guardian Spears a trigger. You're not canon. Slams wallet shut. Clearly they didn't forget the trigger, guys. They just didn't want the fake Custodes actually hurting someone. Bold move, keeping the comments open. It's very brave of you to keep the comments section open. So most of the people in these comments are just roasting them. And I don't understand what this obsession with companies have with trying to get an audience that doesn't exist. There is no Warhammer fans that want female Custodes. And if there are, they're an extreme minority. And you have to ask yourself as a company, do you make content for an extreme minority, or do you make content for the majority? Now, Star Wars, used to be a big Star Wars fan, not anymore. Reason why? They decided to chase an audience that doesn't exist and I, as a Star Wars fan, disliked the new content and I left. Now, another problem that Games Workshop is having and is going to be facing here soon is the fact that their bread and butter is their figures. They make a lot of money off these figures. We're looking at, $80 for a single vehicle. It gets expensive. And now, unfortunately for them, 3D printing is becoming pretty cheap. I would say if you're in the Warhammer fandom and you're actually buying figures, you're not broke by any means. And so I think you could save up your cash and plan out to buy a 3D printer and some filament and make your own figs. And I think this is going to be a big problem with Games Workshop, where they're triggering their fan base, they're essentially spitting in their face, and at the same time, their product that they're selling, that they make the most of their money on, which is their figures, is going to be obsolete. Because why can't I just 3D print them myself and make alterations myself, or get blueprints from people who are clearly far more interested in the lore than you guys are? I think this is going to be a big problem for Gears Workshop down the line. The disrespectful attitude towards fans are only going to make their future prospects that much more grim. But unfortunately, this isn't anything new. As I've said, Star Wars has done this, Star Trek has done this, Indiana Jones has done this, 007 has done this. This is not a new thing, and until companies finally realize that they're chasing a golden goose or a great white whale that simply does not exist. But I have to thank you all for watching this video. If you are a Warhammer fan and you got this far, let me know what you think of this whole situation. Are you planning on buying 3D printed figures from, eBay or something, or a Wish? Or are you going to keep supporting Games Workshop? Or maybe you actually like the female Custodes and you're going to write and tell me how wrong and stupid I am in the comments. Either way, I'd love to know what you guys in the community think about this. Because I just don't know that much. And what's actually kind of funny is, when Star Wars was dying, I decided to leave Star Wars and go to Warhammer, a Star Wars refugee, so to speak. And I actually really did enjoy the Adepta Sororita, or the Anathema Psychana, because at least to me, religious zealots and nuns in particular, going on murderous rampages will never not be interesting to me. So I actually unironically really enjoyed those two. And, Nurgle and some of the stuff like that I really found interesting. And it is just such a shame that something so interesting and different has decided to flush that uniqueness down the toilet in order to chase something that just is not there. Thank you for watching. Give me a like and a sub. Drop a comment down below, it helps the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.